welcome to the whatever week we're in now, podcast here. I'm your award-winning host, Robbie Wright. We got a pretty funny show lined up for you guys here today. I'd like to do a little disclaimer on last week's podcast. Yes, it was a giant shit show. Yes, we were heavily intoxicated. Yes, we were chewing. Yes, it was pretty much a scene out of some cheap porno. Like Carmen could not have worded that any better. So I would like to give my co-host last week a kind of a pat on the back. It was a pretty piss-poor podcast. The analysis was horrendous. But nonetheless, it was, I promise you guys, a podcast in Johnstown. A little update. We finished 1-1-1. We missed out on the championship game by a tiebreaker. Came down to one goal. We would have got our shit stomped if we would have made the championship game. So we all got to go home early. It was a fun weekend, though. And as you guys probably saw by my Snapchat story, we brought the noise. I'd like to give congratulations to Mike Polakasi. Whatever his last name is, he was the top point getter here. Sorry, I just got a question. What's the best cheesesteak in Philly? Tony Luke's. Sorry, I got it. Philly questions. Sometimes I get those. But yeah, I'd like to give him a little shout out. He won once again. He is now $50 richer this year. You guys sent me some pretty funny questions here. I'd like to thank you guys here. We'll jump in the recap here. I have been sick as fuck the last 3 to 4 days. And there's a rumor that the person I shared a bed with for 2 nights was also pretty sick, coughing up a storm, which I didn't quite realize it. He may or may not have gotten me sick. So I would like to thank that certain person. He knows who he is for getting me sick. Hint, hint, he pisses the bed a lot. Hint, hint. But he didn't this past weekend, which I appreciate. All right, so we'll jump into scores here. And it was week 8, so we'll start off with, this was a low-scoring affair here. It was Clareton Bears versus Shitty Farm Team 3. Casey squeaked by, putting up only 100 points, but it was enough to beat Old Matter here. And it was kind of funny because Casey is quoted, if you lose to Ben, just pretty much just quit. And he barely squeaked by here, so Casey won by 5 points here. Looking at the matchup here, Ezekiel Elliott that might be a trade Jared regrets because he has probably been the best running back so far this year. Jameis Winston had hit an alright performance here. But I mean, looking at Matter's matchup, the only one that really showed up was Dez Bryant. And this is one of these cases, you got to trust a guy named Dez. So congrats to Casey on getting the W. It was ugly, but win's a win. And someone earned name privileges. Jordan, you got your first win. 1-7, big guy. Congratulations. He took down. It was an ex-roommate rivalry matchup. Mike lost to Jordan. Yikes. I mean, congratulations, Jordan. So, looking at Jordan's matchup here, Kirk Cousins, 24.2. I get to even analyze your matchup here. I haven't done this in a while. Gronk, 21.9. Patience pays off. Too bad, I believe you're one loss away from being out of the playoffs. But maybe if everyone, pretty much just collapses the rest of the season and you get collecting the W's here, you never know. So that was not a loss Mike probably liked there because this potential first round bye implications right there, and don't want to lose to the guy who's winless. So sorry, Mike, but congrats to Jordan on getting the first W. And that brings me up to a little disclaimer here. I've gotten some questions on when the trade deadline is. Let me check right now. I think it's November 23rd, but I just want to make sure we're all on the same page here. Yes, it is November 23rd at 12 p.m. So, what is that? I don't know what the fuck day it is anymore. So, today's the 3rd. 20 more days. We are 20 days away until you could trade no more. So, and that's another disclaimer. Once you're mathematically out of the playoffs, you are not allowed to trade anymore. So, a guy like Jordan, for example, I believe you're one loss away from being mathematically out. Get your trades in now. if you do feel like you can really make a difference here. So, all right, back to the matchups here. We'll do mine. I had a pretty impressive week after a pretty piss poor week. I took down George. Business is booming by a score of 148.7 to 96.8. Derek Carr went off 35.5 as well as Amari Cooper with the touchdown and 173 yards. That's pretty impressive. Tyler Eifert 25.2. And Cincinnati D got me -3, yet it still was enough. And plus I had Antonio Brown on a bye. So great job. Business is booming. Let's go, big guy. Whereas George, he had Mr. Thomas Brady at 30.1, and that really was the only one. Booker got him 17.4. Other than that, no one showed up for George. So, congrats to your award-winning host on getting the W and improving to 5-3. Move on to the next matchup here. What do we have? Carmen versus Darwanka, the battle of the goalies here. And it's a bit of a rivalry matchup, I'd say, because Carmen moved away. Darwanka to take the reins behind the pipes once again, which he absolutely hates playing goalie, for Team Monkey Bar. And Carmen bullied him even more and took him down to fantasy football by a score of 127.1 to 102.7. Howard had a nice showing. This guy's been... ESPN didn't pretty much gave him a horrible projection this past week. I have him in my other league. 30.2 points on Monday Night Football. I believe that was the difference maker that put Carmen over the top to get this W here. Who else came to town? Andy Dalton, 19.5. AJ Green's been arguably the best receiver so far this season, 21.1. You look at Darwanka here, other than Crowder, get him 25.7. Andrew Luck did already 18.4. Sproles, 15.3, got him those PPR points. No one really did too much for Darwanka, so congrats to Carmen. Now he was on a bit of a cold streak. He's now at 4-4, while Darwanka drops to 4-4. Before I analyze Palaci's matchup here, I got one more matchup here. We got Bonesaw versus Jared. And Bonesaw took out Jared. It was a close game here, 116.3 to 111.8. And the difference, I mean, this is pretty even for the most part. For Bonesaw, no one really broke 20 points. There was a few guys, Mariota, Melvin Gordon, and Michael Crabtree, and Jordy Nelson. All right, they're right at the border. They all had some nice showings here, whereas Jared, I mean, he got Matt Forte had a nice showing with 23.8, but other than that, no one really did too much for Jared. So, congrats to Bonesaw. He improves to 5-3. Before I get into Palaci's matchup here, I'm going to just run through the standings here. This is a very competitive. These standings are tight right now, and I believe playoffs are week to 13, I believe. So, we're coming down the home stretch here, boys, and Palaci is in sole possession of first place right now. And we then have 4 teams, Jared, Bonesaw, Mike, and myself at 5-3. We have 3 teams at 4-4, Carmen, Darwanka, and George. And we have 3 teams at 3-5, Casey, Trevor, Matter, and then we got the Cellar Dwellers at 1-7. So that'd be Jordan. This is really anyone. Anyone can literally win this season. I was talking to my buddies about this the other day, that other than Tom Brady, there really has not been like one player that is just absolutely dominating fantasy football this year. So it just makes it kind of fun. There's not like you look at tight ends, for example. I think there's maybe 2 elite tight ends, and it's just garbage. Or not really garbage, but some of them are garbage. But it's just throwing things at a wall, throwing something at the wall and hope it sticks. So it's been a pretty dull NFL season, if you ask me. So we'll jump into the last matchup here, and I'll get Palaci on the phone here shortly. I'd like to thank you guys for the questions. They were pretty funny. Look at Palaci here. He took out Trevor. This was a best man rivalry matchup here. And he bullied Trevor. 175.9 to 126.9. Aaron Rodgers, 33.8. Devontae Freeman, 21.8. Diggs, 21.6. I mean, Devontae Adams, he's riding him hot. Jordan Reed came back, 24.9. Or Trevor had a nice showing here. I mean, Theo Riddick 27.3. Jordan Matthews, who is the most frustrating person ever to watch. If you are an Eagles fan, I actually genuinely feel bad for you. He could not catch shit, but he did catch a touchdown. 23.5. So you're Asa Palasi here. He took down Trevor by almost 50 points. And Trevor, I mean, he put up the third most amount of points this past week, fourth most, but wasn't enough. So congrats to Palasi here. We'll get him on the phone here. I'd like to thank you guys once again. I know I just said this. You guys did have some funny questions, and now we're going to roast Palasi, the best part of the award-winning podcast. So let's get him on the phone here. Hello, Mr. Palasi.
What's up, Ryder?
Hey, not too much, man. I'd like to, first of all, welcome you to the award-winning podcast. This is your third time on it. How's it feel to be the guy who's been interviewed the most so far this season?
Feels awesome. You kind of threw me through a loop there. You called 5 minutes earlier than expected, but I was ready this time, and excited to be back on the podcast.
Yeah, you're learning, Palasi. I mean, whenever I say 20 minutes or so, it could be anywhere from 5 minutes early to on time to 5 minutes late. So you're in the range there, and we appreciate it. Take me through your past week here.
Yeah, man, it was my best week yet. Actually, while you guys were off dicking around for Halloween, I was studying game film and I guess put the right lineup together, and I think got above 170. So it was my best week yet, and everyone came through, and it's looking pretty good right now.
So yes or no? Did you wish you were in Johnstown this past weekend?
I actually did. I knew there was I knew there was a full roster, and judging by the Snapchats, it looks like you guys had a pretty good time over there. So
whose Snapchats were the best?
Well, I mean, yours were probably the most extensive. I mean, it was just I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I just saw a bunch of drunk Ted, and then one of the I think Corey was throwing up off a bridge, which was just absolutely incredible. So
yeah, it's a classic Briggs move, but
that was a classic Briggs move. Yes.
I woke up to all these Snapchats. I completely forgot to put that on there. It's why would you post that on Snapchat? I'm like, fuck them, fuck them.
It looked like a drunken blur, and the fact that you were still sick multiple days later, it sounds like you guys had a pretty good time.
Yeah, I had to take off a day of work, which I'm actually heading to Vegas here tomorrow, so luckily I'll be kind of refreshed for that. But it's
okay. You're feeling a little bit better now, then. Yeah, just in time to go and party.
Yeah, it's convenient. Worst part is I probably drink the least amount in Vegas as opposed to a hockey tournament.
Where are you staying at, Ryder?
MGM. Got a comped room.
I should probably host you. You haven't hosted yourself on the podcast yet, so have you stayed at the MGM before?
I've been in the MGM. I never stayed there though.
Okay, that's the big sports betting one, right? That's
it's pretty much my happy place.
Okay. All right. Cool.
So I'm gonna do this right now, Palasi, because I'm gonna send you this invitation right now. We're looking to go to Columbus for our next hockey tournament, beginning of April. And we want you there. Would you like to come?
Yes, I will absolutely come to Columbus. Yes.
You realize this is recorded, so if you don't,
this is recorded. This is for the world out there. I will be in Columbus as long as there's a roster spot. And
fuck playing hockey, dude. Literally, we had 10 or 11 forwards. We still made it work. We'll find you space, Palasi.
I get that, but there was also the aspect of organizing a hotel room in the ever-popular Johnstown, so I mean, that was also another portion of it.
That was pretty rough there, not gonna lie. But, all right, Palasi, we'll jump into these questions here. These are pretty funny, so get ready.
Okay, all right.
So the first one is from, we'll call this guy Spencer. And the question is, if Palasi and his girlfriend were to ever break up, how far would he be willing to travel for the next love of his life?
Oh, well, I mean, considering I've traveled halfway across the country, I guess at least to Oklahoma, right? So if I'm willing to live in Oklahoma for a year, I guess that speaks volumes. I don't know there's many other worse states in the country to live in. So I guess anywhere in the U.S.
All right, so pretty much anywhere in the world, we're just gonna say.
Anywhere in the world to find love.
This kid loves love, man. It's kind of gay if you ask me, but I mean it works, I guess. So speaking of love, it's just pretty much all these questions, one way or the other, revolve around love. They kind of just fall back into love.
Right. Oh yeah.
Was missing your flight after Trevor's bachelor party worth the extra hour and a half of sleep?
Not at all. That was awful. It makes for a funny story, I guess. But I just remember waking up next to Brian Hickey and he just laughing at me that I missed my flight. The fact that I could see sunlight whenever I woke up, I knew I was in trouble because in all reality, that was so stupid of me to like. For anyone who doesn't know by now, like I booked this flight, because it was like $50 on a weekend or something like that, and it was like a 5 a.m. flight leaving after a bachelor party. I think I was up until like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take a nap before my flight, and just awful.
Just to give you guys a little bit of a disclaimer here, which kind of brings me to the next question here, which I'm gonna ask this question right now. I had someone ask this, which is kind of funny. Who are you?
Okay. What do you mean?
Someone asked, who are you?
Okay. Well, did they literally not know me? I mean,
yes. This person in the league, whenever I sent out the text, ask Placey questions, his question was, who are you?
Well, I'm a friend of the group. I've traveled around quite a bit. I kind of come in and out of some of your guys' lives, and I'm back in Pittsburgh, and I don't know.
What's your full name? What do you do for a living?
Sure, yeah, it's middle name Scott, Michael Scott. Last name's pronounced Palacey. A lot of people mess that up. It's Palacey. I work for a payroll company right now, so I sell time clocks for a living. If any of you guys needs a time clock, get in touch with me.
He's a man of all trades, and
yeah,
I'll give you guys a little summary of his bachelor party fiasco. So, just a little the last night we were in Atlantic City for Old Hollywood's bachelor party. I just remember me, Placey, and Mike going on a little blackjack bender, and all of us just bitching about how much we want to leave Atlantic City and how burned out we are and how we don't want to drink anymore. We all of us, 15 of us, whoever was there, all got like our second win. We all got absolutely hammered, including Palacey. And not only did Palacey get absolutely hammered, he also lost a little bit of money as well on the blackjack tables. And he ended up trying to take a 1-hour nap and booking this random ass flight, which I had to actually get a rent-a-car, which we had to drive out, get him a rent-a-car so we can drive a rent-a-car to Baltimore to fly out to Oklahoma City. That was a big giant waste of time because he missed his flight. And instead of just calling the airline and trying to get another flight, he proceeded to panic and just drive to Philadelphia airport as if it was going to make a plane just come out of nowhere, where he ended up having, I believe a 13-hour delay, Placey, until you finally got a flight.
So yeah, the whole entire thing was a complete disaster. I don't know what I was thinking. The net loss between being hammered and losing, literally I was up a little bit on the trip, but in all reality, I lost like $600 on the blackjack table between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. and I barely remembered it. And then between that and missing my flight, I just went I went and drove straight. I was like, I don't even know what I was thinking. I was like, oh, there's a flight available. I'm just going to drive straight there and see if it's ready. No. There was no flight. I ended up on, you're right, like a 13-hour delay. And I ended up getting like the last flight on a Southwest plane, but of course that was like $500, but that was a steal compared to everything else. So it was like a net loss over $1,000 in the span of 12 hours. It was not my best moment.
No, I think we can all agree that it was not one of your better moments there, Palacey. All right, next question here. Why is golf a major at a real university?
In Penn State is the #1 university for it. It's awesome. I don't know. Just like grass, they like golf there, I guess. I don't know why it's a major, but it was awesome while I was in it. Got to play golf for class.
Hey.
I would literally get credits to go play golf and drink beer. So.
Yeah, and I mean, I see how you all turned out. I mean, we got Kyle, who's absolutely doing nothing with his golf degree, and you're doing absolutely nothing with your golf degree. So hey, you pretty much picked your favorite hobby, add the word management, and next thing you know, you still get a full-time job out of it. So good for you guys.
Yeah, well, you dickheads were in like physics class and stuff. I was out in the golf course, and we both had the same degree last time I looked. So it all pans out, I guess.
It all does. It all just ends up to a Penn State degree. So if I can do it all over again, I would first of all be a lot better at golf than I would go to be a golf major.
Yeah, even being good at golf is arguably debatable for the majors. So I mean, you could have probably just squeaked by anyways.
That's pushing it. All right, last question. This is arguably my favorite question, which I had no idea about this incident, so I can't wait to hear you elaborate on this. I would like to ask Palacey what it was like to get kicked out of the hotel room he paid for during the Fetch wedding after party.
Oh my God. Yeah, again, that was just, drunken night at the Fetch wedding. My girlfriend was a little heated about, I guess an incident took place. I don't even really remember that. I mean, again, this is because it was like Trevor's wedding. So I got drunk at the bachelor party. I was a little too drunk at the wedding as well, and ended up sleeping in the McCormick room that night. So it sucked. It sucked, but we got through it, and it was a good time overall.
And she did what with your belongings?
They were thrown out in the hallway, and it was my tuxedo that I couldn't find that I had to return the next day. So I was kind of freaking out there. I didn't know for a moment. I did not know where my clothes were. So.
Wow, a moment of weakness for that relationship. But I mean, I guess you guys got through it. Who? I'm just kind of out of curiosity. Who brought up this one incident that led to this fight?
It was Jangner. It was Ryan Jangner that sparked the whole incident. He was just trying to be a nice guy. I wasn't even there for it. I was I think talking to Ben's parents or something, and then I came back and my girlfriend was fuming. Actually punched me in the face, and before I even knew what had happened.
She punched you in the face?
Oh yeah. She square punched me in the face. I don't know what he said, but it really pissed her off. So, it made her mad at me, not him. It was me. So.
Can I just make a little bit of a? I'm just gonna put it out there. Nothing good came out of the Fetch wedding for you, did it?
No. It was a good time, but I guess it was mixed emotions there because that next morning after the wedding was looked back and I didn't know what had happened. I actually really did not know why it had happened until the next day. Actually, I did not know why.
So let's take you through. Let's just go through the timeline here. It starts out you strategize to get to the Fetch wedding, which you had to pay for a flight to get out there. For the bachelor party, to get to Atlantic City. So you're already throwing some money out there. You have a night from hell. The last night of the bachelor party, you lose around $600 on the blackjack table, which you then proceed to miss your flight, which you are still on your PayPal charge, correct?
Yes, that's what the $25 wins go to every week. The PayPal credit.
There you go. So we're chipping away at it here. Which you proceeded to be stranded in Philadelphia for 13 hours waiting for the next flight so you can get home and make it to work the next day, which cost you golly knows how much for this flight. You get absolutely buried by Hickey during the best man speech, which you never stood a chance going against Hickey. Which then led to you and your significant other having a domestic dispute, which you had no idea what you even did wrong, and you getting sucker punched and your shit thrown out into the hallway, and you sleeping next to Pat McCormick.
Yes, I guess you could. That pretty much sums it up perfectly, right? I mean, That's almost perfect. The only other thing is, whenever I did try to get back into my room, I guess I should say that I was at the front counter, and I was so drunk trying to get back into my room, and the lady there, like, I guess she called up to the room, and Tara said no, and the lady's like, "Sir, I'm not allowed to let you into that room." So
to the room you paid for. She said.
It's like I'm this like monster domestic abuser trying to get in there to beat my woman, and I was like, "Lady, like the room is in my name. Just let me back in there." And she's like, "Sir, I'm not allowed to do that." And I'm like, "Okay, thank you."
Did you say that the room is in your name?
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know what it came down to. I mean, she obviously knew I was drunk. She's looking at me like I'm a drunken mess. So
wow, so this
I wouldn't have let me in either.
But she should have. Which kind of funny that you were not allowed in your own room. I tried kidnapping Trevor for to do the podcast on Sunday, and I just went to the front room saying I was locked out of room 217, which was Trevor, Corb's, Tomcat, and Kayla's room. And I was like, I forgot my key, which it is so friggin' easy to get a key there. Meanwhile, apparently, like, I guess, like, Corbs or someone, like, said, like, do not let anyone in this room. I got a key at 2:30 in the morning, no problem. Went in the room, tried dragging Trevor out. Eventually got Trevor out. Trevor and Corbs followed me down to our room, where Corbs proceeded to just start yelling at the girl at the front desk for just allowing some random stranger in the room. And so it's funny how a hotel in Johnstown, you can get allowed into any room, and you can literally be just a murderer. Whereas a room that you paid for at South Point, you were not allowed in.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows the difference in standards. I know J-Town is, I guess, really hurting right there. So I guess they were just happy to see some human contact from you. So,
that's a good way to put it, Placey. Good way to put it. Well, I'd like to thank you, Placey, for tuning into the award-winning podcast. Third time here, second time winner of the 25 Bones. Best of luck the rest of the way here. Maybe we'll have you again on the podcast.
Yeah, Ryder, I'll see you next week, man. Good talking to you, and I look forward to getting back on the podcast.
Sounds good. Take care.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty good interview there. I'd like to thank Placey for tuning in. Got some funny stories out of it, and we're at 27 minutes here, so we're going to wrap it up here. This concludes the Week 8 podcast here. Best of luck to everyone in Week 9, and see you guys soon.